my coaches would scream at me and be like, why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? And I'd be getting injured in fights. I've had multiple concussions. I broke my nose multiple times. And it was all of them all the time being like, why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? And I just remember there was so many times that I wanted to cry and get frustrated. And honestly, I didn't have the solution. And the first thing I thought of is, if I knew why, I wouldn't be doing it. Why are you asking me why? You're the coach. You're the professional. You're the black belt. You're the one that's supposed to give me the solutions, not punish me for getting it wrong and thinking that I have the answers when I'm just a beginner and I'm just a white belt and I'm just learning how to fight. And I'm learning how to spar. I'm learning how to compete. And instead of showing me how to fix and change those things, you're just putting me down. Keeping your hands up in life, thinking about the solution over the problem. I love this topic because it's all about reframing your mind, reframing how you take a look at problems and issues and overcoming things. It's also like rewiring to think about how to do things differently when you're feeling extremely stuck. So it's all about thinking positive over the negative and seeing the solutions over the problems. Welcome to Beyond the Black Belts. I'm Megan Cotterill, and I am the owner of 5 Elements Martial Arts in Calgary, Alberta, and the president of Team Canada for the World Kickboxing and Karate Union. So, keeping your hands up in life. I love this analogy because I loved being an athlete and a fighter for so long, and teaching people to keep their hands up is part of my day job, and I really enjoy doing that. But I enjoy the way that I teach them how to do it and the way I've coached, and then how that takes a look at how we problem solve in real life and how we can change things into solutions and opportunities instead of being stuck in the things that are happening to us and the negativity and the things that we feel like we can't change. I think it's all about deciding how you want to approach things. So this was what I went through for a very long time, I think, throughout martial arts, and because it's just kind of my jam and I can resonate with it and the life lessons that I've learned through it, I kind of go back to storytelling through martial arts a lot and what happened to me when I was growing up in martial arts. And I think this is something that most coaches have had done to them, and it could be across a lot of different sports as well, is that I had coaches that would rather criticize and tell me what I was doing wrong and ask me why I was doing things wrong, as opposed to giving me the solutions or having me think about what I could do right or how to actually change something or how to apply something differently. So my favorite kind of way to describe it is, my coaches would scream at me and be like, why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? And I'd be getting injured in fights. I've had multiple concussions. I broke my nose multiple times. And it was all of them all the time being like, why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? Why are your hands down? And I just remember there was so many times that I wanted to cry and get frustrated. And honestly, I didn't have the solution. And the first thing I thought of is, if I knew why, I wouldn't be doing it. Why are you asking me why? You're the coach. You're the professional. You're the black belt. You're the one that's supposed to give me the solutions, not punish me for getting it wrong and thinking that I have the answers when I'm just a beginner and I'm just a white belt and I'm just learning how to fight and I'm learning how to spar. I'm learning how to compete. And instead of showing me how to fix and change those things, you're just putting me down. And this happened, throughout that in sports as well. It was basically like, why do your push-ups suck? Or why are you not turning over your kicks? Or why is your footwork look imbalanced? Or why are you losing your balance? Or, why are your legs bigger than your upper body? Or why are your ankles so weak? And I remember it was just so much negativity. It was so much criticism. It was such a negative approach to coaching and learning. And I felt like this even in school. It was always focusing on what you were doing wrong and never focusing on literally the directness of what you could do right. So when I started coaching and I was learning kind of about what I wanted to hear and how I wished I was being coached, I started teaching things very differently. And I think in martial arts, guard is so important, right? It's like a fundamental thing. You need to be protective. Like, martial arts really is about self-protection and self-defense. And, in the martial arts that I took, there was a lot of sparring, especially in things like Muay Thai and boxing and kickboxing. And so when I was blocking and protecting my face and my hands were up and I was preparing for things like national championships and world championships and professional, like pro fights and amateur fights and going into the ring for K1 and full contact and things like that. And I was constantly getting criticized. Why are you dropping your hands? Why are you dropping your hands? It led me to learn how to coach myself. It led me to realizing what I needed to hear in order to do things better, feel less stuck, and perform. So I spent some time thinking, okay, well, if I was to coach someone else and they were always dropping their hands, maybe the best thing I could do is tell them exactly where to put their hands. So instead of criticizing my students about dropping their hands, instead I just said, put one hand on your cheek and put the other hand in front of your nose. Or, oh, you know what? I see that you're getting hit in the head. I see that, we could be more protective. Put both your hands on your head and this is why. And I started to reframe my mind the way I wished I was being coached for how I wanted to see things in the rest of my life, especially when I felt really stuck. So I think it was learning how to have more direct communication and asking for more direct communication in other people as far as trying to problem solve. So the way I started keeping my hands up was I started coaching by just telling people directly what they needed to do to make everything better. Instead of being like, oh, you're losing your balance, it was like, hey, I'm going to teach you 5 things that are going to help improve your balance and they're going to help you perform in everything that you want to do and achieve that goal. It was things like reframing my mind to look for things that I wanted instead of being scared about the things that I didn't want. So making lists and journaling and really thinking about those things. So instead of going, oh my gosh, my car is getting older. What if it breaks? I'm not going to know what to do if I need to change a tire. I don't know how to prevent things. It was, okay, if I lived in a perfect world, what do I need to know? Okay, so now I'm going to think about getting an AMA card or what the best mechanic is going to be, or how do I decide on getting a new car that's going to perform the best? It's very much like the analogy of when you want to get a new car. So say, for example, your dream car is a red Corvette, let's just say. And so your dream car is a red Corvette and that's all you think about. And then all of a sudden, when you're on the street, all you see is red Corvettes everywhere, constantly, all the time. And I think that's the same as solutions. I think that's the same kind of mindset that you should be having about everything, really. Whether it's a sport, whether it's business, whether it's a relationship. It even comes down to relationships. It's going, well, okay, I want to get into a romantic relationship, but I don't want a guy that's self-centered. I don't want a guy that focuses too much on money. I don't want a guy that is self-conscious. Well, if that's all you're thinking about and that's all the negativity you're thinking about, that's all you're going to attract. That's all you're going to find. That's all you're going to look for because that's what your brain focuses on. Whatever you tell yourself is what your brain focuses on. Whatever you tell yourself is what you're going to find. And so if your mindset is always negative, that's where you're going to feel stuck. That's where you're not going to find those solutions. Instead, think of, okay, well, I'm in a I want to find a romantic relationship. I want someone that's confident. I want someone that's kind. I want someone that feels abundant. I want someone that is calm. I want someone that's empathic. I want someone that's patient. And you start to find those things in other people. You start to look for those things in yourself. You're not getting stuck in the problem anymore. You're finding the solution. And that applies for work too. Instead of going, I'm so worried about money and I'm so worried about budgeting and I'm so worried about staffing, reframe it into, in a perfect world, what kind of staff member would I want? You respect someone that's a good business owner that you think is positive. How do I find the best mentors that can help me solve these problems? How do I start to make lists of the qualities that I want? And those things start to happen. Once you reframe yourself to look for opportunities, they present themselves everywhere. And it changes the whole dynamic of how you can live your life. And it can change the dynamics of everything from your goals to your relationships to business to how you want to feel to even your mental health. Instead of going, I feel anxious all the time, reframing it to, what things can I do to feel calm? What people make me happy? What things bring me joy? What makes me smile? What makes me feel free? What topics do I really want to talk about? What places make me feel good energy? And it's all about starting to listen to that intuition, starting to listen to what actually makes you feel good and happy, what actually is solving the problem, what kind of directives that you need to get there, what kind of solutions you need to look for to get there. And really, it's about keeping your hands up in life in a positive way. Keep the one hand in front of your nose, keep the other hand on your cheek. You'll always feel prepared. You'll always feel protected. You'll always feel safe and secure, and you'll always be finding the best and most positive solutions. So go from things sucking to things being beautiful. All it is a mindset, a choice, and a reframe.